Here's what happened at the 11th round of the Motorsport.com National Series presented by One Industries. At the start of Lights Moto 1, it was a good jump from the inside number 151 Honda as Maxime Tyson grabbed the whole shot, and he led away from the number 195 Kawasaki of Ryan Prentice, closely pursuing him in second. Tyson led for a few laps before crashing on his own from the lead. That allowed Mikey Owen, points leader and championship-elect, to get by for the lead as he tried to wrap up the title this weekend. Second place in the points and Unadilla overall winner Robert Nash had his problems early on getting together with some people here in the back of the field. He was able to recover and get up to the front of the field, though. A battle for third early on was between Jeremy Smith and James Armstrong. Smith on the 208 Yamaha gets by Armstrong right there, but they were a long ways away from Owen, who had gapped the field for a little bit as Tyson tried to reel him in. Seidhoff had recovered early on from a bad start, and he was up inside the top 10 as well. Owen goes down with a lapper, and that allows Tyson back to the lead as Maxime was running quick laps in the middle of the moto. Tyson then goes down by himself, unfortunately, as Owen takes the point away from him again. Tyson would remount in the second place position until this mistake right here, as you see him go off the screen to the left and crash. That allowed Jeremy Smith to get through on the number 208 Yamaha ride into the second place position. Smith tried to tail Mikey for a few laps here and ran some similar lap times. A few times they were better, and just stick to the back fender of the number 21 Honda, hoping he made a mistake, which he did right here as he scrubs his tabletop and gets into the Kawasaki who's on the ground. That allows Smith to the lead, and Smith would lead for a little bit as Mikey remounted in second, until Smith had his own problems getting together here with the number 96 lapper of Carson Tickle. Goes down over the bars, and that allows Mikey to get back through for the final time of the moto. He'd stay in the lead. Robert Nash had worked his way forward. He was up in the fourth place position, running quick laps most of the moto, coming from way back. It was a solid ride in the first moto for Byron Downen on the Pantsagan Suzuki number 323, as he was up inside the top 5 and well up in there most of the moto. But nobody was going to be able to catch Mikey Owen as he led the field for most of the moto and ended up picking up the first moto win ahead of Jeremy Smith. Coming into the second moto, he only needed to finish 14th or better to wrap up the title. In the second moto of the lights class, it was a good jump again from the middle, but this time it wasn't Tyson. It was actually the 208 Yamaha of Jeremy Smith grabbing the whole shot, which was dangerous for the rest of the field as he led away from his teammate Tyler Schmidt on the Evo Industry rides. One a Yamaha, one a Suzuki. Owen had his problems early. He was in fourth until he crashed by himself on this little off-camber turning double. He got rammed by a few people and would end up outside of the top 20 after the first lap. Smith, though, led away from Tyler Schmidt and Ryan Prentice, as well as Eduardo Simos and many others up there early on. Robert Nash had a better start this moto. He was up inside of the top 10, making the pass here on Carson Tickle for 5th. But it was all Jeremy Smith at the front early on as he led away from the field on the first lap by a substantial margin already. Then he crashed all by himself on this small little tabletop. That allowed Ryan Prentice to nab the lead away from him on the 195 Kawasaki ride, intrinsic graphics rider. He had Tyler Schmidt all over him until he went down by himself, and that allowed Smith to go back to the lead with Robert Nash in tow as they'd both worked their way around Tyler Schmidt, who had dropped back to the 4th place position. Smith led away from Nash, and Nash looked to be challenging until Nash started making small mistakes like you see right here. He eventually faded back. Owen was up inside of the top 10 after falling early on, and he would wrap up the title this weekend. More issues for Seidhoff this moto as he would go down battling outside of the top 15. Get into this same guy here twice was a frustrating day for Jared. Tyler Schmidt goes down all by himself, but it was a great day for Byron Downen, going 5-3 for 4th overall. But it was all Jeremy Smith in this moto as he cruised to an easy win by a huge margin, taking the overall victory and celebrating in style. He was your overall victor for the weekend.
Pretty good. Moto 1, I got off to a really good start, then someone punted me. I was in the field like a mile away, and I started back in like 25th, came back to second, and almost got the win, but a few lappers messed me up. Then Moto 2, I came out with a whole shot. It was pretty sweet because me and Tyler Schmidt won 2 going. And then I just led solid laps all the way through the race and ended up with a 90-second gap by the end. So overall, it was pretty good. Track was good. I liked it.
In the 450 class, we all looked for the Tyler Crane versus Tyson Frisquez battle, but it was the System Decal teammates of Brady Stanley and Jack Roberts who nabbed the early lead, with Brady Stanley getting the whole shot on the number 58 Honda. His teammate on the 386 Kawasaki, Roberts, was in tow with a host of other quick riders following them through. Crane and Frisquez got horrid starts as Frisquez goes down right there, and Crane gets by him, and Frisquez goes down with another rider early on in the first lap and was all but dead last halfway through the first lap trying to work his way forward. He'd eventually get up behind Tyler Crane mid-moto. But it was all Stanley leading away here on the green flag lap, away from Zach Dupuy in second, the number 19 Suzuki rider, and more in tow behind them, but it was pretty much just them leading. Zach caught Brady, and then Brady went down, getting pressured by Zach. Dupuy took the lead, and he was gone, never to be seen again. Crane got up into the top 10 early on, as you see him going by Kellen Brower here on the Yamaha, and he had Tyson Frisquez following him. As you see Frisquez coming up here, there was only about a 5-second gap between them early on. Tyler Crane crashed by himself, and it was the beginning of many crashes between him and Tyson as they battled together to work their way forward, already up inside the top 10. They had Austin Gorley, the number 15 Yamaha, between them, as all three of them continued to battle up inside, getting into the top 5. Gorley went down, collected Crane, but Crane was able to get up first, and he tried to go after Tyson, but nobody was catching Zach Dupuy, well and truly gone at the front of the field. Tyson gets into a lapper, as you see right here, which allowed Crane to get back by. Just more and more of the shenanigans going on between these two guys. They both ended up catching Brady, and Brady went down. This time Brady was in third, though, as Jack Roberts had already gotten by into the second place position. And Crane tried to get away from Brady by this point, as Tyson was not that far behind them either, until Crane tried to triple through this rhythm section and went down, allowing Brady to get back by, and then Tyson was also able to sneak by with Tyler Crane remounting right behind him, and then the battle was on. These guys stuck together for most of the moto, trading places. Here you see Tyson, he's going to come up short on this hip double and go down, allowing Crane to get back by yet again. They just could not separate themselves. Austin Gorley ended up in between them yet again, as you see him here ahead of Tyson. A lapper goes down and Crane hits him, which stalls him out, but he picks it up pretty quickly. Gorley, trying to avoid the wreckage, gets into the bales and goes down, allowing Frisquez to get back by and sneak up behind Tyler Crane. But nobody caught Zach Dupuy as he cruised to the win in the first moto by over a minute, lapping all the way up to the 4th place position, and he was your Moto 1 winner. In Moto 2 of the 450 class, it was a good jump out of the middle yet again. This time it was the number 225 Honda machine, Jag Motorsports' Jordan Vanderlee, who comes out and nabs a pretty good hole shot. We were all looking for Crane and Tyson yet again, and this time around they had a little bit better starts, as Crane is actually going to make the pass on Vanderlee after Vanderlee goes down early, and Crane would take the lead, but Crane himself would go down. That would hand the number 179 KTM machine of Tanner Grant the lead, as he would cross the line on the first lap to lead the first lap with Zach Dupuy and Austin Gorley in tow. Dupuy triples into the rhythm section up the hill and makes a pass for the lead and leads away from him as Gorley follows in closely. Dupuy then goes down by himself leading and gets punted by Grant, which allows Gorley to get by for the lead, and Grant would later crash. A bad start for Frisquez as he comes through the pack, unfortunately. He would get up there quick though. Crane back to the lead after Gorley slides out, and Crane took the lead and wouldn't look back for a while. Frisquez was on rails for the entire moto, though, coming flying through the field, eventually catching the leaders. Dupuis was trying to follow him, but couldn't quite stay with him this moto, as he would fade and finish in the 4th position. Frisquez caught Crane with 2 laps to go as they took the 2-lap board, and the battle was on as Frisquez tried to close the gap on Crane. If Crane stayed ahead of him, it would be a 7-point gap going to Elsinore. If Frisquez got by, it would be 10 points, and so he wanted to keep that gap closed. But on the last lap, he gets collected with a lapper trying to avoid him, and strangely enough, Tyson lets him back by. You see him pulling off to the side of the track. Crane gets back by for the lead, and it looks like he may end up actually winning the moto until a half a lap later when he gets caught up with another lapper and goes down, allowing Frisquez by for the final time, and Tyson would go on to take the win in the moto and the overall victory, taking a 10-point lead to Lake Elsinore in the final round next week as we look for Tyson and Crane to battle it out yet again.
It feels great, man. I'm glad I could get the 2-1, gain some points on Tyler Crane. Now it's a lot easier on myself coming into Lake Elsinore, so it feels way good. At the beginning of that second moto, I didn't think I thought Tyler Crane had it. I knew Tyler Crane was out front early, and I was way back in the pack. But I'm pretty good with coming back from bad starts, so that's what I tried to stay calm. I was getting a little pissed off, but I tried to stay calm, and I moved through the pack, and before you know it, I was getting pretty close to Tyler Crane, and then he went down there. And it was a good battle. I was having fun. And then it came to the last lap, and if you saw it, he went down with some lapped riders, and I didn't want to win it like that, so I pulled off, and I was going slow. I thought he fell off the bike or like a pretty big crash. So all of a sudden, a Kawasaki guy goes by me, and I thought it was just a lapper. And Adam, my teammate, Adam Barry, he tells me, "Oh, that was him. Go, go." And I was like, "Oh, so."
For daily motocross pro and am coverage, be sure to log on to vurbmoto.com, and if you like us, prove it.